Today I am going to talk a few words about throw your shadows behind you. There's a famous story about Alexander the Great. He was a boy just like you, just 10 years old. But he was very smart. He had very sharp intellect, and he had all the good qualities of a hero. His father, Philip, was very grateful to have such a son. Once he purchased a very good horse, well looking, well built, white horse. He wanted to demonstrate its excellences, so he called all the courtiers, all the dignitaries. They were all present. The king also came there. The newly purchased white horse was brought there. And the king was very joyful to see that horse. It was so beautiful to look at. It was very fine in its shape and form. So the king himself wanted to ride the horse. So he just mounted the horse and spurred it to make it gallop. But surprisingly, the horse did not move at all. It stayed motionless. The king was a little worried. Why the horse, which was certified as the best one, was not running at all? It was not moving, just standing like a statue. He tried again and again to see that the horse runs, but it did not make any move. Philip was puzzled. Then he asked his generals, "Come on, one by one, you please try." Everyone mounted the horse, but the same effect. Nobody could move the horse. All their efforts were in vain. So the whole gathering was stunned to see this. And the king was little sad that such a thing could happen. They were all amazed and not to know what to do further. The boy Alexander, I have already told you, he was very intellect, sharp, silent, observing. He had all those wonderful qualities. Noiseless. He was not wasting his energy in unnecessary mischievous things. He was a very good boy, robust. He was watching every movement, everything around. He came forward and said to the king, "Father, let me try. Let me see whether the horse could be made to run." The king couldn't believe. How can anybody believe? The boy is telling this way. Anyway, he laughed over the matter and he said, "Well, all these generals have failed. They are all experts in horse riding. You also had horse riding probably. day before. Then, what do you know about horses? They are very intelligent animals. Without knowing the psychology, you can't make the horse run. Anyway, you are coming with so much confidence in you. Appreciate that confidence. I don't want to disappoint you anymore. All right, try. He gave a chance to the son. The boy approached the horse. He asked the groom to turn the horse round. It was done. He then jumped onto the back of the horse and dug the spurs into its sides. In a flash, the horse galloped away and was lost in view. All the people were wonderstruck. How could it happen? Even the king could not make it run. Even the generals could not do. How this little boy was able to make the horse run? They were dumbfounded. A few minutes later, Alexander came back proudly, riding an equally proud horse. The king was overjoyed. He was overwhelmed with a kind of indescribable joy. He embraced his son and asked him, "How were you able to bring off this miracle?" It's a miracle, I should say. Did you have any supernatural powers? How did you make it run? The father was seriously asking the question. There was pin-drop silence all around to know the answer, what this boy would reply. The boy just smiled and he said, "Look, I noticed something that all the others had missed." What was that? You had kept the horse facing west. You were afraid that the sun's rays shining into the horse's eyes might cause irritation. So you kept the horse facing the west. But facing west, the horse was gazing at its long shadow. It was too terrible for it to see the shadow. It became so nervous at the black silhouette. So it was terribly afraid to move even an inch, because in the front it is seeing all the time the black shadow. So it was unwilling to run. I noticed it. I found out that was the mistake done by these generals. So I had the horse facing east. Now what happened? The shadow was behind the horse. The space in front was spontaneously bright. The horse grew joyous. It was jumping with energy, and it raced away for all it was worth. The king and all the people there, they were wonderstruck at the boy's intelligence. The king was supremely satisfied about the skill of the boy, about the future prospects of the boy. He was not a dull, stupid idiot. He was not a brute, but was very intelligent, smart, robust, full of confidence. all that youth requires. So he presented him the horse and blessed him that he would become a great conqueror. So that's the lesson for us. The trouble with most of us is that we are paralyzed, gazing at our own shadows. We manufacture imaginary fears and suffer, thinking over and over again. We are too much conscious of our weaknesses, thereby loosening our confidence. We find we are unable to take any decisive steps. We feel nervous. So, what we should do, like Alexander, we must throw our shadows behind. Then the path before us will be very clear and we can achieve great wonders. So you are all boys beaming with energy. You should always be very confident about what you are doing, and you must be intelligent enough to discriminate properly and take decisive steps. So the first thing is, if you want to be happy in the real sense of the term, you should be very strong. You should be very strong. Strength is indispensable for any achievement. The prize is ever to the strong. The weakling gets pushed to the wall. Swami Vivekananda used to say in one of his teachings, the famous teaching of the Upanishads, Abhihi, Abhihi. Do not fear. Be dauntless. Life is for strong. Never even for a moment think about the imaginary weakness. You are never weak. Your innate nature is strength. You are strong. What type of strength you need? That's a very good question. It is not the strength of the brute. It is not the physical strength of the giant who tyrannizes the people. It is not the power used in oppression and destruction. Strength here is meant the creative strength that is to be achieved. It is positive power that cares tenderly for everything living in this beautiful universe. It is the strength of love that is ready to make sacrifices of its own comforts and conveniences for the welfare of the whole. When we are strong, when we are healthy in the body, we are not aware of the existence of the body. When our digestive power is excellent, we eat well, we forget about what we have eaten, the food gets digested without any ado. It's only when the digestive system has developed some trouble that we become painfully conscious of it. So too with the mind. When the mind is strong, when the mind is healthy, when the mind is concentrated, when the mind is able to focus on the subject, it works smoothly. It works very well, like a noiseless automatic machine. You are very fine because your mind is in good shape. It is when it is weak and afflicted that it finds itself confronted by problems. Every problem is challenge to the mind to prove its strength. The world is a gymnasium which provides you varied opportunities to exercise your mental muscles and grow strong in spirit. Problems are there to be tackled, not to be run away from. You have to face them. To give an example, when a child is learning to walk, the mother places more and more difficult obstacles in its path. The child learns to overcome them one after another, till walking becomes an effortless process for him. Then in course of time, it learns very well, it walks independently, it walks confidently, it walks with great cheer. In the same way, God places so many seeming difficulties in the path of our life, only to enable us to know how to master them and gain tremendous inner strength. How do we get this inner strength? From purity of mind. If the mind gets spoiled, you are spoiled. If the mind is gone, you are gone. If the mind becomes mad, you are mad. So mind is everything. If you don't know how to take care of your mind, that means you don't know how to take care of yourself. If you are spoiling the mind, you are spoiling yourself. So you have to be extremely careful about maintaining the purity of your mind, which is very essential in your formative period. You are all children growing with wonderful capacity of the mind. Keep up the mind properly. Have good association. Feed the mind with good ideas so that you won't get distracted from the object of learning. When the heart is free from impurities, the spirit too is free from weakness. It is really a virtuous circle. Virtuous circle. Purity of heart begets strength of spirit, and a strong spirit makes for a pure heart. Inner purity and inner strength are the obverse and reverse of the same coin. Be pure and be strong in spirit, then we can all become heroes in the real sense of the term. Real sense of the term. You will be very valuable to the whole society, to the whole country, to the whole world. Never yield to lower tendencies. Two friends were talking. One of them said to the other, "Well, I tried to do a certain thing, but I failed. So I have given it up." Why he failed? Because he gave it up. He tried but did not try enough. He should have kept on trying. Half-heartedness was his handicap. Withdrawing in the middle was his error. You can't leap half across a well. Persistence pays We have to be at it again and again. Then only success smiles. You have to be persistent in your doing the things. That's very important point. You should all remember. Again, watch a child learning to walk. How many times he falls? But does he stop trying to get up and walk? The more he drops down, the more he gets up. Tries all the time. Tries again and again, taking a step, falling and getting up again, till walking becomes natural with him. It is this spirit of never giving up that wins in every field. Probably you have heard of the great saint Confucius. He said a very famous statement. It's wonderful. You should all remember this. There is no shame in falling. There is no shame in falling. There is shame only in not getting up every time you fall. There is shame only in not getting up every time you fall. What a wonderful significance this statement has. The famous poet Kalidas, referring to great kings of Sri Ramachandra, he said, those noble kings made it a rule to work on till the results were achieved. So, that's the way we should conduct our life. Once you have fixed the goal, you should be up and doing, heart within and God overhead. Never be afraid of failures. They come to test your determination. They come to test your determination. They are challenges to your courage. Lord Krishna says to Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, be a hero and fight on. Don't be unmanly. Don't be a chicken-hearted coward. Klaibyam masmagama parthanaitatvam yuvapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbilam tektotishta parantapa. That is a famous statement of, famous teaching of Lord Krishna. Get rid of all dirty weakness. This teaching is very important for us. There may be ups and downs in the battle, but when Lord Krishna, the Lord of the universe, is on our side, victory is sure. We need only to feel that God is with us, and God will always be with us as long as we walk His path. If you don't follow the path of God, even if God is there, you will not be benefited by it. So you have to follow ethical and moral values. You have to form your character properly. Then you will understand the beauty of God, the glory of God. Lord Krishna goes one step further. He tells Arjuna, look, don't bother about success and failure. What if you do not succeed? Die in the battlefield. You would be dying a hero. Such a death is infinitely more glorious than a long life as a coward. So, face dangers, confront defeats, but never withdraw. The world is a gymnasium in which we test our inner strength. We must march ahead, flourishing the motto to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Never yield to lower tendencies, never yield to weaknesses. Always face the situations boldly, courageously, then you will have all success in your life. With these few words, I conclude my talk today. If you have any questions, you are welcome to ask. Yeah. No, boy means it refers to girl also. It is, when we talk about, generally, it has become easy for us to talk boy, boy like that. It doesn't mean girl is omitted. Not like that. I told you it's children. Children means it includes boys, girls, all. Everybody. Everybody. Any questions or any observations, your comments, you are welcome to do. All right, we will conclude.